दृष्टुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्. Dear students, we have discussed the discovery of electron and studied the properties of electron. When very high voltage of electricity as high as 10,000 volts were passed through a gas in a discharge tube under reduced pressure, 0.01 mm of mercury, a glow appeared to emerge from cathode, proceeded towards anode, was named as the cathode rays, and the properties of the cathode rays were studied by J.J. Thomson. These cathode rays produced the shadow of opaque object, caused mechanical motion of thin mica pedal, heated off the metallic plate, produced fluorescence or scintillation when they strike the glass walls, produced X-ray when they strike the metallic anode, and they were deflected by the magnetic field and were attracted towards the positive side of an electric field, which led to the conclusion that the cathode rays consist of a stream of negatively charged energetic particles moving in straight line, having the properties of luminescence. Such particles were named as electron by Stoney. The charge of the electron was determined by Millikan by oil drop method and was found to be 1.6026 in 10 to the minus 19 coulombs, and the E by M ratio of the electron was determined and it was found to be 1.7587 in 10 to the power 11 coulomb kg inverse, and this E by M ratio of electron was found to be constant irrespective of the gas taken in the discharge tube and material of the electrodes taken, which confirmed that this electron is a universal constituent to atom of every element. And in this way the discovery of electron was confirmed, which has the electron is symbolized as a E minus. The charge of the electron is 1.6026 in 10 to the minus 19 coulombs, is taken as 1 unit of negative charge. Now this, when after the discovery of electron, now question came in the mind of the scientist, as atom is electrically neutral, therefore there must be some positively charged particle inside the atom to balance the negative charges to make the atom electrically neutral. And that question, when came to the mind of the scientist, led to the discovery of the next fundamental particle called proton. Now we'll come to discuss the discovery of proton. So this discovery of proton was done by Goldstein. This experiment was kept as such. The experiment was taken as such. It was taken as a discharge tube made up of glass, thick glass, and the anode. Here is the anode, which is connected to the induction coil, which produces a high voltage of electricity, and a vacuum pump to reduce the pressure of the gas. So this is the vacuum pump to reduce the pressure, and the pressure of the gas was reduced to 0.01 mm of mercury, and this is the anode. And he changed the apparatus having a perforated cathode in the middle of the discharge tube. This is the one change he wanted to know. Why? The reason because the cathode ray appears to emerge from cathode, proceeded towards anode. It was coming like this. So he want to separate the positive charge particle and negative charge particle. So this now what will happen? This is a cathode he kept in the middle, and this is a perforated cathode. This cathode is a perforated cathode. Perforated cathode means small pinholes. The small pinholes are made. Just like we are having a net, inside the holes are there, like that small pinholes were made, and this is the perforated cathode connected to and this. And he preferred to take a aluminium cathode because the conduction of electricity was very high in case of aluminium. So he used an aluminium cathode, very small, and if aluminium is taken, it is very malleable, hence it can be soft and it can be small holes can be made, and it used a aluminium perforated cathode. The reason because the cathode rays comes from the cathode, proceeds towards anode. So if the cathode is taken in between, then this side there is no possibility of having the negatively charged particle. If at all any positively charged particles are there in the atom, and they will definitely come this side. So that was the thinking in his mind to take a perforated cathode. And then the experiment was conducted, and about 10,000, this is the induction coil where from the high voltage of electricity can be passed, and 10,000 volts of electricity were passed inside the gas which was under reduced pressure. I have explained you the gas consists of the molecules, and the molecule is made up of atom, where you are reducing the pressure and impinging upon them a high voltage of electricity, so automatically these atoms or molecules will be under terrible pressure. So any force goes on that upon them, there will be some change taking place inside the atom of the gas. That was the thinking in the mind of the scientist. So Goldstein, he devised the experiment this. And when surprisingly what he thought of, and exactly he got such values. What he got, what observed, now what you are expecting, will the cathode rays here. This is the area of the cathode rays, because it appears from cathode and proceeds, the cathode ray comes from the cathode, proceeds towards the anode. So he found a very one interesting observation. A glow appeared to emerged through the pinholes. There is the glow emerged through the pinholes of the perforated cathode. Through the light, very pink, green, blue color light was coming through the penetrating out the pinholes of the perforated cathode and proceeded toward the glass tube. And here in the glass, inside the glass, he has coated the glass by zinc sulfide screen. He coated the glass by zinc sulfide screen. So to know the interaction of this, and he found here fluorescence, blue light. Fluorescence is a greenish blue light. That color is called fluorescence, and this glow which emerged through the pinholes of the perforated cathode, when they strike the zinc sulfide, here they produce fluorescence. They produce the fluorescence. So this is the observation he made, and then he conducted the experiment. Whatever experiments were done by Tej Thomson, exactly all these experiments were repeated. So what has happened? So to know when the electron was found to be a constituent particle of an atom, and it is a universal constituent of atom. Every atom is expected to have electron. Now as the atom is electrically neutral, the scientists, they thought that there must be presence of a positively charged particle inside the atom equal in number to the number of electrons present in the atom of the element, to make the atom electrically neutral. So what they did, what Goldstein did, the high voltage of electricity, 10,000 volts, were passed through the gas under reduced pressure, 0.1 mm of mercury, using a perforated cathode kept in the middle of the discharge tube. It was observed the glow of lights, they were emerging out through the pinholes of the perforated cathode, and they proceeded straight and produced fluorescence on the zinc sulfide screen coated inside the discharge tube. So that means what? The electron is knocked out from the atom, and that electron, this side there is a possibility, this side no observation he made. So this is the area of the cathode rays, the area of the cathode rays. Why? The cathode rays will be proceeding towards anode, and this side there is no question of having electron. So whatever observation will be made beyond the perforated cathode, they will be the observation of the suspected positively charged particle to be present inside the atom, and he conducted the experiment. So the properties of, and these rays, the glow which comes out, these rays were called as positive rays. They were called as the positive rays. These gold, they were called as the positive rays because they are going beyond cathode. So cathode is negatively charged, and they are coming this side. So beyond cathode they are going, so they must be positively charged. He thought that the anode ray or positive ray, and the properties of these rays were studied. So first property they studied what? They produced shadow as like cathode rays produce shadow of opaque object. So that means what? These rays are propagating in straight line like light rays. Then next they produced mechanical motion. They produced mechanical motion of thin mica pedal. Hence these particles present in these rays are material particles, and they are moving with very high velocity. They heated up a metallic plate. Means again they are energetic. So as they are stopped by the metal, so the kinetic energy is converted to heat energy, metallic plate. Then they produced fluorescence. They produced scintillation when they strike the glass walls. So up to this, all these properties and fluorescence on zinc sulfide. All these properties are there, the cathode rays. But they did not produce X-rays. The cathode rays produced X-rays, but X-ray was not observed by them. Then they deflected. Then the next property, deflected by magnetic field. All these properties are there. So hence they are charged particles. Now they wanted to know the next property. What are the charge of this particle? He wanted to confirm. So these particles, these rays were deflected towards negative charge, negative side of the electrical field applied across the chip, applied across the negative. The rays. So here these are the rays proceeding like this, and when electrical field was applied, this electrical field, this is a negative and this is the positive, this is a negative, and they were deflected towards the negative side of the electrical field. Hence they must be consisting of what? Positively charged particles. So that they were suspecting there must be positively charged particle. Now it is confirmed. So there are some positively charged particles are present. So this glow which penetrates the pinholes of the perforated cathode, or the perforations of the perforated cathode, consists of the positively charged particles. Then the question comes, they determine the charge of the particle. So they determine the charge of the particle. The charge of the particle, charge of the particles were equal in magnitude and opposite to those of electron. The particles were found to be 1 point, that is plus 1.6026 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. 19 coulombs. So the charge of the particle were found to be 1.6026. This. So then the question comes, how these positively charged particles are produced. So he wanted to explain. That is what is there inside this? They have the molecules. So this is the atom of the molecules. Now the high voltage of electricity is striking, and it is knocking out the electron. Because of this impinging of the high voltage of electricity and reduced pressure, the electron is knocked out, and there must be, so there is a positively charged particle, residual charge, that is what? The positively charged particle. So that means from the atom, when high voltage of electricity as high as 10,000 volt were allowed to hit upon the molecules present inside the discharge tip, the electrons are knocked out. And a positively charged residue remain, and that positive charged residue constitutes the positive ray. So this side they got the positive ray, this side they got the cathode ray. So now the presence of a positively charged particle inside the atom of an element to make the atom electrically neutral was confirmed by Goldstein. Now they want to confirm what is the E by M ratio. Next is called what? E by M ratio. The E by M ratio means charge to mass ratio. E by M ratio of the positive rays, the particles of the positive rays were not found to be constant. In case of cathode rays, they are found to be constant, not found to be constant. What happened? This E by M ratio, the E by M ratio of the positive rays were found to decrease with increase of molecular mass of the gas. They took hydrogen, they took nitrogen, they took oxygen and determined the E by ratio. the E by m ratio was found to be highest in case of hydrogen, and then went on decreasing with increase of molecular mass. So that means what? We take, suppose you take, what is the molecular mass of hydrogen? E by, in case of hydrogen, it will be E by 2. And in case of, say, nitrogen, it will be E by 14. And in case of oxygen, it will be E by 32. So that what is happening? This E by m ratio will be decreasing. So the E by m ratio started decreasing as expected. So it was found that E by m ratio of the positive ray of the particles constituting the positive rays were found to decrease with increase of the molecular mass of the gas. It was found to be highest when hydrogen gas was taken. So it was found to be highest when hydrogen gas was taken. What this confirms? So the positively charged particle present in the positive rays of hydrogen gas has the lowest mass. Smallest, or has the smallest mass. You can say has the smallest mass. This. So because why? This is smallest mass, because the mass is this the particle. Suppose taking the hydrogen, and when the positive charged part hydrogen atom is there, and it has 1 unit of positive smallest mass, and it has 1 unit of positive charge. It has 1 unit of positive charge. This. So that means what? We are taking the hydrogen atom. When this hydrogen atom is this high voltage of electricity is passed, it produced electron and produced hydrogen ion. This hydrogen atom lost the electron and got a positively charged hydrogen ion. So now question comes, they wanted to give the name to this, and they called it proton. They named this hydrogen ion was named as the proton. Why they called proton? Now question comes, why proton? So the reason, because it is a from Latin word protos. Protos means fast. In Latin language, protos means fast. So this is the first positively charged particle. Below this, there is no positively charged particle. In the series of counting the we have the numbers 1, 2, 3. 1 is the first number. So anybody who gets the highest mark in the examination is called first position. 1 position is 1, they write. The next person is position 2. The next position 3. So 3 position is not getting the highest mark. 1 position has got the highest mark. So the first positively charged particle was named as protos. That is the reason they call that as proton. The name was given to them. That is how the name is given. So the positively charged particle produced from nitrogen is not proton. From oxygen is not proton, because they do not have the mass. The mass is different. So here, in case of hydrogen, when a hydrogen gas was taken, the positively charged particle produced was found to be the highest E by m ratio, and the E by m ratio of this proton was found to be, of hydrogen was found to be 9.58 10 to power 4 coulomb gram kg inverse. inverse. So it got the highest mass. It became the 9.58 in 10 to the power 4. There you got the 1.7587 in 10 to the power 11. So here it was found to be 9.58 10 to the power 4 coulomb kz. This is the result they get. Thus they call that particle was discovered as the proton. So in every gas, positively charged particle is produced, but the positively charged particle produced when a hydrogen gas was taken in the discharge tube was found to be this. So then the discovery of proton was declared by Goldstein, and in confirmation to dates we cannot, no date, different books they write different dates, so we cannot know the date, which year. It is a continuous process. A group of scientists at different parts of the world, they were working on what is there inside the atom, what are the constituents of the atom, or what are the particles present inside the atom to make a particle atom which cannot be subdivided. So the charge of proton was found to be as that is positive charge, that is 1.6026 in 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs, and the mass of the proton was found to be its mass was found to be as almost equal to the mass of hydrogen atom, and its mass was found to be 1.6276. The mass of AM in AMU, when you come to kg and AMU, both will put, and it becomes 1.6726 into 10 to the power 28. 27 this kg. This was found to be this 27 kg, 1.6726, 1.6726 to 6 10 to the power minus 27 kg. And there how much the electron was? 9.01939 10 to the power 30 minus 31. So the mass of the proton is 1837 times larger than the mass of the electron. The mass of the proton was found to be almost equal to the mass of this, and it is came to as a 1.0078. That is the in scale. So the mass of the proton was found to be this. So in this way, the discovery of proton was confirmed, and this it's in its atomic mass unit 1.00727 AMU. In case of electron, it was found to be 0.000547 AMU. And here the atomic mass of hydrogen is what? 1.008. So the proton mass is little less than that, because atom of a hydrogen consists of what? A proton and an electron. Now if you add the proton and electron mass, it comes to and it is relative mass, as you know that the atomic mass of hydrogen is a relative average mass, because hydrogen have three isotopes: the hydrogen mass 1, hydrogen mass number 2, hydrogen mass number 3. So the relative average, so that comes, so it was found to be 1.00727 AMU, and it is 1.6726 10 to the minus 27 kg, and the charge of the proton was this. So in this way, the discovery of proton was confirmed. So proton is a fundamental particle of atom. Electron is a fundamental particle of atom. These electron and proton, they are taken to be, they are otherwise also called subatomic particles. These electrons and protons, they were called as subatomic particles. They are called as atom contains them, so they are called as subatomic particles. So they are called as subatomic particles. So this electron and proton. So the two, this is almost towards 1905-6 probably this type of discovery was made, and atom was found to consist of two fundamental particles. So this way, this two part. Then come third particle, discovery of third particle. As I told you, atom consists of three fundamental particles: electron, proton, and neutron. Now we'll come to discovery of neutron. And it was done in the year 1932 by James Chadwick. So by the time after the discovery of atom, it was found always there is a dilemma in the mind of the scientist. For example, carbon has atomic mass 12. So it was found to have 6 electrons and 6 protons. So the mass comes to 6. Then what about another ghost mass? So they thought there may be ghost mass inside the atom. For example, atomic mass of oxygen was found to be 16, and atomic number of hydrogen, oxygen, was found to be 8. So the oxygen atom contains 8 electrons and 8 protons. So its mass comes to 8 AMU. But the atomic mass is coming to 16. When you come to nitrogen, atomic mass of nitrogen was found to be 14 AMU, and atomic number, there are 7 protons and 7 electrons, but so mass should come 7, but then where about other 7 mass? So there was a dilemma in the mind of the scientist. They call there is some ghost particle present inside the atom. Ghost means undefined particle present inside the atom. The search was made, and it took 32 years for the scientist to confirm. The third discovery of radioactivity is over. Alpha ray, beta ray, gamma ray were discovered. Then Rutherford model of atom, Bohr model of atom, Sommerfeld model of atom were discovered. Almost complete the structure of atom, the chemistry of atom were studied. The periodic table was recasted in 1913 after the Moseley's discovery of atomic number, but nobody could know that what is that ghost particle present inside the atom, which is responsible for the mass of the atom. So that discovery was going on. In the year 1932, James Chadwick, he carried out an experiment. So most of the discoveries are like that. So when fast moving alpha particles, so James Chadwick discovered that when fast moving alpha particles when fast moving alpha particles were bombarded on beryllium metal, a new type of particle having no charge but mass almost equal to that of hydrogen emitted out. This is a very strange discovery made by Chadwick. What he did, he took the beryllium. This is the beryllium metal. On the beryllium metal, the fast moving alpha particles were bombarded over this beryllium metal. What the beryllium? Beryllium is a metal. It has atomic mass 9 and atomic number 4. Atomic number, number of electrons, protons present in the atom. So this happened. So when fast moving alpha particles, what are the alpha particles? Now alpha particles consist of atomic mass 4. AMU and charge 2. So when this beryllium was taken, its mass is 9, atomic mass number is 9, and the atomic number is 4. It was bombarded with an alpha particle, mass 4 and charge 2. Charge 2 were bombarded. It was found that it produced a new particle. It produced a particle which has mass 1 but no charge. Produced mass 1, having mass 1 equal to almost the hydrogen but no charge was emitted out. So you have here 4, and they found here they got the carbon. They got the new atom was produced, and the atom was produced was carbon was produced. He took beryllium, and upon that he bombarded the alpha particles. When they bombarded the alpha particles, they got carbon. It became carbon. It is a silvery white metal, and when you are bombarding with these alpha particle, this is called alpha particle, and it produced a new particle which has mass 1 and no charge, and that since it has no charge, they call that as a neutron. They call that particle was named as neutron. When fast moving alpha particles were bombarded against a metallic beryllium, a new type of particle having no charge but mass almost equal to the mass of hydrogen atom was emitted out, and such a particle was named as neutron. And its mass is almost equal to just a little more than that of mass of hydrogen atom, not exactly equal to the mass of hydrogen atom, and a little more than that of the mass of the atom, and the mass of the charge was found to be 0. Charge of neutron. This particle was named by Chadwick as neutron, and its charge was found to be 0, and the mass of this neutron was found to be 1.67493. It is found to be 1.67493 into 10 to the minus 27 kg. So the new particle was named as a neutron, and this neutron was named, it was called as a neutron, and its charge was found to be 0. Charge was found to be 0, and mass was found to be 1.67. That's almost equal to that of mass of proton, 1.67493. 1.67493 into 10 to the minus 27 kg. So that was 1.6726. In case of proton, it was 1.6726, and it was here the proton, and here it is found to be 1.67493 10 to the minus 27 kg. So electron was minus 31 kg, and here is minus 27 kg. So in this way, the atom was found to consist of 3 fundamental particles. The electron, which is negatively charged, has mass, negligible mass, which is 9.1093 in 10 to the minus 31 kg, and has charge 1.6026 in 10 to the minus 19 coulombs. The proton was found to consist of 1 unit of positive charge equal in magnitude, opposite in sign to the charge of the electron, and mass is 1.6726 in 10 to the minus 27 kg, or 1.00727 atomic mass unit, and it was found to be same 1.6. Then neutron was discovered and found to be 0. So this is the way 3 fundamental particles now atom, and it was symbolized as neutron N. This neutron was symbolized N10. This all symbolized mass is 1 and charge is 0. Proton was symbolized P11 plus 1 here. Mass is 1 and charge is plus 1, and electron is 1 0 and minus 1. The electron is symbolized as E0 minus 1, and it is symbolized as P1 plus 1, and neutron is symbolized as 1 and 0. These the three fundamental particles were discovered. And this electron is also symbolized as E minus, also is written as E minus 1, and this proton is also symbolized as H plus, because its mass is equal to the mass of hydrogen atom, and one positive charge. It was produced from the hydrogen gas when it was taken, so they call it H plus also. So proton means H plus. When H plus ion, hydrogen ion is also called proton, because that is the first positively charged particle to be known, and below that there is no positively charged particle, hence called first. Hence the protos. The name comes to the many often. Where from the proton came? Most of the names, valency, you know that valencia is the ability, from that word the valency was taken, and here also same thing. The proton comes from this, and the neutron, it is called neutron because it has no charge. It is electrically neutral. So now, since atom is only hydrogen atom does not have neutron, many of the question comes in entrance exam, name the element which does not have neutron. The hydrogen does not have a neutron, but heavy hydrogen, the isotope of hydrogen, heavy hydrogen, that has one neutron, and another tritium. Protium has no neutron, and deuterium, the heavy hydrogen, it has one proton and one neutron, and tritium has one proton and two neutrons. So this discovery of neutron solved another problem of the isotopes and isobars. So at one time, different scientists, different places, they were having different discoveries, and all the discoveries were coming in, and they were developing the structure of atom. So after this discovery of the structure of these fundamental particles in the atom, and attempts were made by the different scientists to propose a model of atom. And that is called the structure of atom or model of atom. Next class we will discuss the model of atom proposed by Rutherford, called as Rutherford nuclear model of atom.